Now, before any of that, though, let's talk about the BBC. Story in the papers yesterday. Now, you know that we all have to pay our licence fee if you're watching the Beeb. What's it now, £159.50 a year, I think it is. Not very good value for money, some might argue, compared to Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc. But that's what you have to pay for the state broadcaster. A lot of old people, disabled people, the vulnerable, they struggle to pay this licence fee, and sometimes they don't pay it. And the BBC continues to prosecute them, continues to take these poor people to court for not paying their state broadcaster TV licensing fee. And a lot of people think that the BBC has got to stop doing this. You can't send old people to jail, potentially, for not paying to watch Strictly Come Dancing. It's ridiculous. It's anachronistic. No other country in the entire world sends people to prison for not paying for television entertainment. I realise that most people probably just pay the fine, but there are still people every year who are imprisoned for not paying the state broadcaster's TV licence. That seems to me to be wrong. Let's talk to the digital campaign manager at the Taxpayers Alliance, Joe Ventra. Good afternoon, Joe.
Good afternoon, Kevin. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining us. My assumption was that the BBC had agreed to desist from the prosecuting people for not paying their TV licence. But clearly that is not the case. I mean, at one point, not so long ago, the incredible statistic was that 10% of all magistrates' court cases, 1 in every 10 cases, was the BBC prosecuting someone for not paying their TV licence, which in itself is ridiculous. Now, because of the debate going on about the TV licence, the BBC did sort of seem to agree to back off a bit, but apparently not. They're still hounding pensioners. They're still hounding disabled people. They are still going hell for leather to get this £159.50 off people. That's got to stop, hasn't it?
You're absolutely right, Kevin. I think a lot of this debate that we're talking about today has been sparked off by the story of a lady called Jean. You might have seen there was a story in the Times about this lady. She's 72 years old, has a number of health issues, and has essentially been dragged before the magistrates. And, you know, for what? I mean, we're talking about the crime of owning a TV and not giving the BBC its cut-on time. Yeah, it really is draconian. And I think the sad thing is, as we've discussed there, is that Jean isn't alone. Quite literally tens of thousands of people are prosecuted every year for non-payment of this fee. And when you think about it, the fact that it's taken this long for ministers to finally start to talk seriously about reform, it's pretty shocking. But I think if there's any inkling that the government is going to go soft on this issue again, they really need to take stories like this into account.
£159.50 a year for a licence fee,
yep.
And they've just spent £87 million on rebuilding the set for EastEnders.
Yes, you're right.
Which has actually seen a massive fall in its viewing figures, as low as 2 million. Why are they spending £87 million shipping bricks in from abroad to rebuild a set on a failing show?
Yeah, they ought to think about EastEnders. EastEnders, I think, has served its time in its day. You know, I used to be a TV writer, and in its day, they were getting, at one point, they got 30 million viewers for a particular episode. I think it was 1989, Christmas Day, when Dirty Den served divorce papers on Angie in the Queen Vic. 30 million, as you rightly say. I mean, you're quite generous there. You said sometimes it gets as low as 2 million. Sometimes it gets worse than that. It is no longer the blockbuster. It certainly does not require £87 million of our money on the set. That is a really good point, Malcolm.
Well, you know, I watch soaps. I don't watch EastEnders, but I do watch Coronation Street, and I do watch Emmerdale.
Emmerdale, yeah.
Some of the storylines and some of the wokeness in Emmerdale especially is absolutely ridiculous. You've got a village of about 40 people, and you've got every section of the...
I know. It's like the United Colours of Benetton, isn't it? Also, nothing wrong with that, but it isn't really reflective of what life is really like in a Yorkshire Dales village. Also, the other thing I always think about Emmerdale, it's always on fire. Have you noticed? It's always on fire, Emmerdale. It's the most combustible village in the entire world.
Well, Emmerdale actually is the royal answer to that crime programme that's played. You know, I certainly wouldn't want to live there either.
No, that's right, yeah. No, television is not necessarily reflective of real life, to say the least. Malcolm, great call.